لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Those people who go on Hajj, they don't realize one thing mostly. That the act of Hajj, the whole act of Hajj, it reflects the true, unexplainable, unimaginable, unlimited love for Allah which Ibrahim Khalilullah possessed. And Allah said in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, among the believers, those are the real believers who أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ, who love Allah extremely. Not just love, not just muhabbat. أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ means ishq, means extremely love Allah. If you look at the life of Ibrahim, oh Hajis, don't think that the Hajj is a holiday. Don't think that when you go on Hajj, some people I have seen, they go on Hajj, they stay most of the time in their hotel. Some people who Allah has given the tawfiq to go every year, some of them, they spend time in the hotel more than they spend time in the haram. And I went 3 times in my life, alhamdulillah, and I went once when I was there, I was with some other people at the group. And there was another person in the group who was leading, and I was leading certain people. And the people who were with me, I told everybody before Hajj, because we were there about 7-8 days before. And I said to everybody that we are here, make use of this great blessed opportunity. So do as many umrahs as you are able to perform. Do one umrah for yourself, which you have to do anyway. Do one umrah on behalf of your parents. Do one umrah on behalf of your grandfather. Do one umrah on behalf of your sheikh. Do one umrah, most importantly, on behalf of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because it is because of him that we are Muslims today. So I said this, and there was another leader in that group. It's a group of 100, 200 people. And what he said to his people was, don't worry, you don't need to do umrah every day. Just rest, just pray 5 times in haram and rest in the hotel and collect your energy. So in the Hajj, you need that energy. His way of thinking was that, which is not, I'm not saying is not right. That's his way of thinking, but I disagree with it. Because when I look at Hajj, when I look at the pillars of Hajj, what I see is just sacrifice. I see nothing except sacrifice. I see nothing except that a person forgets his rest, forgets his relaxation, forgets whatever he wants, his nafs. For Allah's sake, he gives and he sacrifices everything he has for Allah. Look at the one who started the Hajj and who we are imitating during our Hajj. That is Ibrahim alayhi salam. What is the Hajj all about? What is the life of Ibrahim all about? The life of Ibrahim starts from the birth of his own life, start from his youth ages. His youth ages. He could have said, let me just worship Allah. Let me just follow Tawheed. No need to challenge the people. No need to challenge the leaders of the society who are doing shirk. No. He said, no, my love for Allah is true. I can't remain silent. I have to tell people. I can't let people in front of me worship idols. So I have to fight against it. Ibrahim alayhi salam was thrown into the fire of that. Even though he knew he was going to be thrown into the fire, he never backed there. He never said, no, let me just pray. Let me collect my energy. I need it later. No. He said, doesn't matter whatever I have to do, even if I have to sacrifice my life for Allah, for His love, I will do that. And Ibrahim alayhi salam jumped into the fire. And the reward Allah gives to such people, those who sacrifice everything for the sake of Allah, the reward is Allah says to these people, Inni ja'iluka linnasi imama. I'm going to appoint you a leader for mankind now. The reward for these people is, Allah changes the law of physics for such people. He says normally, if someone is thrown into the fire, then he will die, he will burn. But now since you are not thrown, you are not going into the fire because of an accident, because of any other reason, you are being thrown into the fire because you love me, you have love for me. So Allah says to the same fire, Ya naru kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. O fire, I have created you. Now I am the creator of law of physics, so I change the law of physics. If you hurt my Ibrahim, then this is very wrong. I order you, bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. Become a source of relaxation for Ibrahim. The same fire which would have burned people, when Ibrahim was thrown into that, it was like air conditioning for him. He married another lady, Hajra alayhi salam. And when he got married with her, he was blessed with a son, Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam. This Ismail alayhi salam was very young, very small, just a very few weeks or few months old. Allah Ta'ala said to him, "O Ibrahim, I want you to go and in the Bayt al-Muharram, biwadi khayra zi zara'in, in the Bayt al-Muharram, I want you to go and leave your children, leave your family, your wife and your child, biwadi khayra zi zara'in, in the place which is uncultivated land, just desert, nothing else. I want you to leave your family there, where there is nothing except of my house." And even the house of Allah was not there. It was just the signs were there, but the house in fact was not there. It was destroyed. Because as you know, the Qibla, the Kaaba, was constructed approximately up to 10 times. The Kaaba is constructed up approximately 10 times. We normally, when we talk, people think that Ibrahim constructed the Kaaba, isn't it? They think Sayyidina Ibrahim constructed with his son the Kaaba. He did not construct the Kaaba, he just raised the walls of the Kaaba. This is why Allah says in the Quran, and the first person to build the Kaaba was Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam. He was the first person to build the Kaaba. What Ibrahim alayhi salam did was, Allah says in the Quran, وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ. يَرْفَعُ, he just raised the walls because Kaaba was destroyed and the signs of Kaaba were not present there. Ibrahim alayhi salam was told that the house of Allah was here. But when Ismail later on became Shabab, in his youth ages, then Ibrahim alayhi salam was told to from the ground dig that particular place and lay foundations there and then raise the walls for the house of Allah. That is what Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi salam did. But look at this person's love, Ibrahim alayhi salam. He sacrifices his children there, his child, only child, who came after so many du'as. Who came after so many du'as. When he receives the blessing, now Allah says, leave him there. Leave him there. So he goes there. He brings his wife there, Hajra. He brings his son Ismail there. And Hajra says, where are you going? You are leaving us alone in the desert. And he says, this is the commandment of my Rabb, my Lord. Think what is going through in the mind or in the body of Sayyidina Ibrahim. If you look, and if he would have thought with his aql, intellect, then intellect would have said to him, what are you doing? They will die. They have just water, food for a couple of hours, couple of days. They will die. What are you doing? But at the same time, there was something in him which was ishq, which was love of Almighty Allah. Which was true love for Allah. And what is true love? True love is that you forget everything. You just remember your beloved. That for you, just the vision of your Lord is more important than anything else. You don't look what people will think of you. You don't think what people think about you. You just think what the Rabb with Allah thinks about you. You don't bother about your image in front of people. You just bother about your image in front of your beloved. This is ishq. And Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he said this to his wife, I have you leave you alone here. Subhanallah, that wife was also the wife of Ibrahim alayhi salam. She was not like the women of today. Are you gone mad? Now our women, our sisters, if their husband maybe donates something more, a little bit more to the masjid, or if the husband stays in the masjid, he is in, and the women know, and the sister knows, he is in the masjid, knows he may be doing the work of Allah, but they keep calling, you are not home yet, when are you going to come? When are you going to come? They cannot sacrifice their own time for Allah. Now there are people today who don't find time themselves, who say we have no time for Islam, for deen. Look at those beloved of Almighty Allah. They would sacrifice everything for Allah. The lover of Allah, those who are ashik, those who are lovers of Almighty Allah, they don't think about consequences. They don't think about what people will say. They don't think about their other needs. They just think about the will and commandment of Almighty Allah Ta'ala. So Sayyidina Ibrahim leaves his wife there, leaves his son there. And the wife is so patientful that when she hears Allah's commandment, at the same spot, she doesn't say anything else. She doesn't question him anymore. And she says, okay, that's fine. Ibrahim Khalilullah goes away. Sayyida Hajra, after some time, she doesn't have anything to give to the child. She does not produce milk to feed her child. At that time, she, in desperation, goes to search for water. As motherly love was so overwhelmed in her that she searched for water. But what happened was that during this search, she went and she traveled to the same place 7 times, between 2 mountains, Safa and Marwa. But she was so desperate, she did not realize this. This is Ibrahim alayhi salam's life. Later on, at this place, caravans start coming. Zamzam water, the well of Zamzam is miraculously starts there. People come and it becomes a small village. It becomes a place, a station. People travel, and when they travel in, and they know this place has water, they stay there for a few days before they continue their journey. Allah Ta'ala orders Ibrahim alayhi salam, now go back to Makkah, because he was in Babul. He didn't live in Makkah. He lived back in Babul, where he was from, Babylon. And he came back and he spent some time with his child, and during that he saw dreams. Dreams in which he was commanded to sacrifice his son. And the dream of prophets, they are wahi, they are revelation. So he knew this is the revelation from Allah. Now at the same time, imagine a father who has lived for most of the years of the child's life. And that, that life which, when a child is growing up, because at that time when he left him there, Ismail was not even walking. He was just crawling. So at that time, for example, until when the child reaches 11, this is a very important part of the children's lives. No parent would want to not see and not observe this time of the child. Ask those parents, fathers, some of you maybe, whose children are not here, who are back at home in Pakistan or back home in Nigeria or any other country. Ask them. They wish they could do anything and they could see this time of their children's life. Isn't it? Because this is the most important for the parents especially. They see their own child growing now. From a small baby, now to become a man. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, as a human, also had that desire, isn't it? But the same Ibrahim, when he comes after some time, after many, many years, then he is ordered, again another order from Allah. Again a trial. Again Allah wants to see whether Ibrahim loves his children more or he loves Allah more. Whether he loves the materialistic things more, whether he loves Allah Ta'ala more. So Allah Ta'ala shows him dreams. In the dreams he is ordered to sacrifice his son. And when the same Ibrahim alayhi salam, he fulfills that dream, bringing his son with him towards Mina, where the Hajis will stay. There, and he tells his son, I am going because I have been ordered by Allah to sacrifice you, O my son, with my own hands. This Ismail, Allahu Akbar, only 11 years, 10, 11 years. When he hears this, he doesn't get scared. He doesn't shout, he doesn't run away. He loves Allah. He himself, the child, loves Allah from that age so much. He says, Satajiduni insha'Allahu minas sabirin. Oh my father, you will find me among the patientful people. Go ahead with whatever Allah has commanded you. Because if it is Allah's commandment, then that is the most important. Satajiduni insha'Allahu minas sabirin. Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail see shaitan. Then, they throw pebbles at him. Rami, they throw pebbles at him. Then after that, shaitan comes at 3 places. Ismail alayhi salam is almost being sacrificed. And Ibrahim alayhi salam tries to sacrifice his son with a very sharp knife. But again, remember, this is the reward. I can tell you, this is the secret of many, many secrets. When a person real with sincerity, just for the sake of Allah, not for the sake of people to show them, not to show people how religious he is, how pious he is. But when a person for the sake of Allah sacrifices, he gets in return much more he can even imagine of. Ask Ibrahim, he was sacrificing his life in the fire of Namrud, but he couldn't have imagined. But Allah rewarded him by changing the law of physics there. The same Ismail, his son, is being sacrificed there. Do you think Allah was not going to reward him? Even Allah rewarded him there in such a way which was unimaginable for Ibrahim alayhi salam. Unimaginable for anybody. Because of his sincerity to Allah. Allah Ta'ala then at the same, the knife which Ibrahim was trying to slaughter the throat of his son with, Allah Ta'ala commanded that knife, "O knife, now I had changed the law of physics before for my beloved Ibrahim. I am changing the law of physics again for Ibrahim. Now you are metal, I have created you in such a way that you are sharp and you will cut and you will go through the body. But now I will change the law of physics." The same knife, Ibrahim alayhi salam tried to cut the throat of his son. It didn't work. Ibrahim alayhi salam became a little bit annoyed with the knife. Allah commands me, and what is going on here? So Ibrahim alayhi salam throws that knife on a stone. And according to some, he is trying to sharpen it. While he tries to sharpen it, the same stone, that rock, cuts into two pieces. He again tries to cut the throat of his son. It doesn't work. And this is what Allah does reward. Allah rewards people who love Him extremely in such a way which is unimaginable. For them, Allah changes the law of physics. Allah changes everything. His own qudra. Allah Ta'ala will change, like in Quran, read Surah Al-Kahf. For Ashab-e Kahf, Allah Ta'ala, He changed the direction of the sun for Ashab-e Kahf, for people of the cave. So you see, when you become sincere towards Allah, and this is what Hajj is all about. You look into Hajj, each and every single thing of Hajj, every single pillar, every single Manasik of Hajj is related to the beloved ones of Allah. Is related to those who had sacrificed for Allah everything. And Allah's commandment, Allah's commitment. You know, Allah's commitment is, Allah says in the Quran, "Fazkuruni azkurkum." Fazkuruni, remember me, azkurkum, I will remember you. So this is the commitment of Allah. Whoever remembers me, Allah says, I will remember him. A person lives for how long? 70, 80 years, 100 years. He remembers Allah, but ultimately he dies. His remembrance is finished. Because his life, physical life is finished. But when Allah rewards a person with that, Allah will remember him. Allah does not have a limit. Allah remembers that person unlimited way. And this is the tafsir of this Quranic verse. One of the ways Allah rewards those people is, these people who remember Allah with sincerity, they may die from this world, but their name still is alive. In the hearts of the people, they are alive. Today, Junaid Baghdadi has left this dunya. Rabi'a Basri has left the dunya. Ibrahim ibn Adam has left this dunya. Imam Bukhari has left the dunya. Imam Muslim has left the dunya. Sheikh Abdul-Qadir Jilani have left the dunya. But now, even today, go to Nigeria, go to Congo, go to Pakistan, go to China. People there, they have never seen him. They don't know him. And some of them have never read their books. But yet, when you talk in front of them, you mention Sheikh Abdul-Qadir Jilani, they will say, we love him also. You mention Imam Bukhari, they will become overjoyed. Why? This is because Allah remembers these people. And Sayyidina Ibrahim, alayhi salam, the reward Allah gave to him is that now until the day of judgment, people from the east to the west, north, south will go to Hajj in their millions. And each one of them, without realizing, they will all imitate Ibrahim alayhi salam and his family members. When you go in Ihram, two white sheets. Why two white sheets? People will tell you other reasons. It's true. But one of the reasons is because this is the sunnah. When Ibrahim and Ismail were reconstructing the Qibla, they only were wearing two white sheets. So Allah wants you to imitate them because Allah loves Ibrahim so much. When you love Allah, Allah starts loving you. Then, after tawaf, when you are finished with the tawaf, you will read 2 rak'ah nafal. Close to وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن مَقَامِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ مُصَلَّى. Why do you have to read those two nafal there? You can go any direction if you want. But now Allah says, in order for your tawaf to be successful and accepted, you must offer 2 rakat there. Why? Because this is the place on which Ibrahim alayhi salam stood when he was finished completing the reconstruction of the Qibla with Kaaba with his son. He stood on this stone and he said, Rabbana taqabbal minna innaka antas samiul alim. Oh Allah, accept this humble effort from us. Oh Allah, Rabbana waj'alna muslimayni laka wa min zurriyatina ummatan muslimatan lak. He asked Allah, oh Allah, from my children, send those who will always remember you and worship you. He asked Allah, Rabbana wab'as fihim rasula. Oh Allah, among my children, send the last messenger about whom you told every messenger. Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this dua was so important that now you have to go and pray nafal there. Why? Because you must remember now you are imitating Ibrahim. After that, Hajis will go to between the 2 mountains to do Sa'i, Safa and Marwa. These 2 mountains, what do they mean? Why do you have to go from one mountain to the other mountain continuously 7 times? If Allah wanted, He could have said, pray 100 rakat towards me. Pray 50 rakat towards me. Allah could have said it, but He said, no. No need to do sajda, no need to do ruku. Just walk in between them. That is part of your Hajj. Why? Because by walking between these 2 mountains, you are copying, you are imitating those which are loved by Allah. Sayyidina Hajj alayhi salam. You are imitating them. You imitating the beloved ones of Allah is ibadah. Is your ibadah, is our ibadah. Our ibadah is imitating the ones who Allah loved and those who loved Allah. That is our ibadah. You go to Mina. Hajis will stay in Mina. Why do you stay in Mina? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, spend time in Mina. And you will there throw stones to those 3 places. To Wusta, Sughra and Kubra, Jamarat. You will throw pebbles there. Why? What meaning does it have? Does shaitan live there? No, shaitan is not there. Shaitan is not in those structures there. And each and every 10 years the structures get bigger and bigger, taller and taller. It's not shaitan. But why are you throwing stones? Just you are imitating Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi salam. You are imitating the beloved ones of Allah. Then after that, you are doing Qurbani, Udhiya. What are you doing? You are just imitating Ibrahim and Ismail alayhi salam. Subhanallah. This is all Islam. This is the amazing thing. Islam basically is the love of Allah, extreme love of Allah. This is Islam, nothing else. So this, if you look at Hajj, every single part and Manasik of Hajj is just, it reflects how much the prophets of Allah, the servants of Allah loved Allah. That for them, nothing was more dearer. Their family was not dearer than Allah. Their wealth was not dearer than Allah. Their life was not dearer to Allah. Whatever was dearer, it was just Allah which was more dearer than anything else. And look at today, this ummah. We cannot spend time for Allah, sacrifice time for Allah. And we want to be beloved by Allah. And we say, oh Allah, why are we disgraced in this dunya? Why are we every time disgraced among all nations? Even though we have 57, 80 countries with all resources. We have wealth in billions, but yet we are very disgraced nations. We used to be the torch bearers of knowledge. Europe used to go to the Islamic world to learn about science. Now the Muslim world has no place to go because they have to come to the West. There are these countries. Why? Because we have everything, but the essence of Islam, we don't have it. We have just rituals. Each and every year, millions and millions of people go on Hajj. It increases every year. But the Muslim Ummah state does not change. Why? Because we have rituals, traditions, but we don't have the essence of those traditions. The essence is love for Allah. True love, love which is beyond imagination. Ishq. Beyond imagination. That for you, nothing is more dearer than Allah Ta'ala. Materialistic world has no meaning to you. Your own children mean nothing to you when it stands against Islam. When you compare them against Allah Ta'ala's commandment. They have no meaning. This is the essence of Islam. And Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam was a beautiful reflection of that. And lastly, I would like to end with a beautiful story. Ibrahim alayhi salam's love was so much, material things have no meaning. Love is that when you just hear the name of your beloved, you stop everything else and just listen to it. This is true love. When somebody mentions in front of you, now azan is said, people don't pray. Azan is said, people change channels. Isn't it? This is our state of the ummah today. But those who love Allah, when they hear the name of their beloved, they forget everything else and just remember the beloved. Ibrahim was once, alayhi salam, was once in the desert because he was a shepherd with his cattle of sheep, 100 of sheep. And Jibreel alayhi salam wanted to take a trial of his love for Allah. And Jibreel, in the form of a man, went to him and close to him. And Jibreel alayhi salam just said very loudly, La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Jibreel said this, the name of Allah. As soon as Ibrahim heard this, he forgot his sheep. He started searching from where the voice is coming from. He went and he saw a man. It was nobody else. This was Jibreel, in fact. And he asked him, do you know who was here saying the words and the name of my Lord Allah? And this man says, it was me. And Ibrahim says, will you please again say the name of my Rabb? This man says, what will you give me if I do so? Ibrahim says, I will give you half of my sheep. Half of my sheep. Just mention the name of Allah. Just mention the name of my beloved. I will give you half of my sheep. And this person mentions the name, La ilaha illallah. Jibreel mentions again, La ilaha illallah. And Ibrahim alayhi salam gives half of his sheep to this man. Half of his sheep, this is half of his wealth. Just to hear the name of Allah. Where are we? What kind of people are we? We cannot sacrifice time to pray to Allah. We cannot sacrifice to come in the masjid for Allah. And they were those who just to hear the name of Allah would spend half of their wealth. Then Ibrahim alayhi salam says again, will you again mention the name of my Rabb? And then he says, what will you give me? And what will you give me? Ibrahim says, I have half of my wealth left. Take the other sheep, just mention the name of Allah. And the person says, La ilaha illallah. And Ibrahim gives him half other wealth, the other wealth he has. And his love does not end here. He says, please again continue doing the zikr of Allah. And this person, Jibreel, in the form of a man, says, what will you give me now? And Ibrahim says, true lover says, he says, I will become your servant throughout my life. Just keep remembering the name of Allah. This is true love, my dear brothers and sisters. Only those who follow the path of love are remembered until the day of judgment. All those imams, which today people mention with respect, with honor, why are they beloved? All those shuyukh, why are they beloved? Because they were those who followed the path of love of Almighty Allah. For them, materialistic has no meanings. Dunya is temporary. How long will you live in this dunya? Prepare yourself for the akhirah. I'm not saying, and neither does Islam say you should abandon dunya. Islam doesn't say that. Islam says, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana. You must have a beautiful dunya. But when it comes against Islam, against Allah, when there is a battle between dunya in your heart, between dunya and between Allah, then choose for Allah and leave dunya, because Allah is the one who created dunya. He will give you more than just dunya alone.